Autophagy acts as a powerful buffer against the kind of chronic, low-grade inflammation that becomes increasingly common with age, a phenomenon widely known as inflammaging. Unlike acute inflammation, which is a short-term protective response to injury or infection, inflammaging is a persistent, smoldering process that quietly contributes to tissue breakdown, organ dysfunction, and the onset of age-related diseases. The mechanisms behind this slow-burning inflammation are complex, but one of the most fundamental is the gradual accumulation of cellular waste, defective mitochondria, and senescent cells, all of which autophagy is designed to control. As cells age, their ability to maintain internal cleanliness diminishes. Proteins misfold, lipids oxidize, mitochondria malfunction, and fragments of damaged DNA may linger in the cytoplasm. These unwanted byproducts serve as danger signals, alerting the immune system and triggering inflammation, even in the absence of infection. One of the key roles of autophagy is to prevent this by identifying and removing these inflammatory triggers before they accumulate to harmful levels. When autophagy is robust, the cellular environment stays clean, quiet, and metabolically efficient. But when it falters, the biological noise from damaged cellular components begins to provoke an overactive and misdirected immune response. Defective mitochondria are especially potent instigators of inflammaging. When they become dysfunctional, they produce excess reactive oxygen species and release mitochondrial DNA into the cytosol, molecules the immune system mistakes for viral or bacterial threats. This false alarm activates inflammasomes, which are protein complexes that drive the release of inflammatory cytokines such as IL-1 and IL-18. These molecules, while useful during infection, become destructive when chronically elevated. By promoting mitophagy, the selective degradation of damaged mitochondria, autophagy effectively breaks this cycle, reducing mitochondrial distress signals and calming the inflammatory response at its root. The immune system itself also relies heavily on autophagy for balance and clarity. Macrophages and dendritic cells, which are responsible for clearing pathogens and cellular debris, use autophagy to digest and present antigens properly. In aging individuals, when autophagy is impaired, these immune cells become less efficient and more prone to producing inflammatory molecules unnecessarily. Moreover, a decline in autophagy leads to the buildup of senescent cells, cells that no longer divide but secrete a harmful cocktail of pro-inflammatory factors known as the senescence-associated secretory phenotype, SESP. These cells are resistant to death and linger in tissues, spreading inflammation and encouraging nearby cells to enter the same dysfunctional state. Autophagy serves as a surveillance and cleanup system, limiting the spread of this inflammatory cascade by either rejuvenating cells or guiding them to programmed cell death if repair is impossible. What's particularly promising is that autophagy doesn't just suppress inflammation reactively, it enhances immune intelligence proactively. It helps regulate the immune system's response so that it is measured and appropriate rather than excessive. In doing so, autophagy reduces the burden on tissues over time and helps protect against inflammatory diseases that disproportionately affect older adults. For instance, in arthritis, damaged joint tissues and immune misfires generate constant inflammation. When autophagy is activated, cartilage cells are better able to clear stress signals and inflammation in the joint microenvironment is reduced. In cardiovascular disease, autophagy clears lipid-laden cells and oxidized particles from arterial walls, dampening the inflammatory processes that lead to plaque buildup and atherosclerosis. Autophagy also helps protect the brain from neuroinflammation, a core feature of age-related cognitive decline and neurodegenerative diseases. In brain tissue, microglia, the immune cells of the central nervous system become hyperactive in the absence of autophagy, releasing inflammatory cytokines that impair memory and accelerate neuronal loss. By maintaining autophagic efficiency, the brain's immune environment remains calmer, reducing the likelihood of damage and preserving cognitive function over time. Fortunately, autophagy remains highly responsive to lifestyle choices, even in late life. Fasting and calorie restriction consistently show reductions in systemic inflammation, largely attributed to enhanced autophagic flux. Physical activity stimulates autophagy in muscle, fat, liver, and immune cells, helping to modulate inflammation across systems. Nutritional compounds such as curcumin, gingerol, and polyphenol from berries and green tea also support autophagy and demonstrate anti-inflammatory effects in both laboratory and human studies. Even sleep quality, known to impact both immune function and cellular repair, has been shown to influence autophagic activity in various tissues. By reducing inflammation at its source, autophagy does more than delay the visible signs of aging. It preserves internal harmony. It quiets the background noise of cellular distress, allowing the body's repair systems to work efficiently without interference from chronic immune overactivation. This not only adds years to life, but improves how those years feel: less pain, more mobility, better cognitive clarity, and a lower risk of degenerative disease. In the broader architecture of healthy aging, autophagy is the silent peacemaker, resolving conflict at the cellular level before it can escalate into dysfunction.